Hey guys, what's up? This is Long D. It's been a while, hasn't it? And first, I'm always holding the remote. I'm like, "Pah, pah, pah." Before I really get talking about anything, I just want to apologize for my appearance. I know I'm probably looking really disheveled right now. I haven't been feeling too great for the past couple days, so I've just been kind of hanging out. I'm either starting to get bronchitis or I've just got a cold or something. I don't know, but yeah. So I'm just kind of chilling. I haven't really done much of anything lately, as you will have noticed, and by much of anything, I mean I've done nothing, so my apologies for the lack of content. Really been meaning to get on stuff, but for some reason I just can't find the motivation. Anyway, enough of that. There will be some stuff coming up soon. As soon as I'm feeling better, I'm going to start doing some stuff in the shop again with my joysticks and try to get those finished. And once that's out of the way, it's more of a mental blockage than anything. I know I have something that I need to get done, and I've been trying to make the steps to get to a place where I can get it done. I just recently went and I needed to make a router template because I don't have a routing table. And if you've never used a router, basically what it does is it's used to basically go into wood at a depth at many different angles. You can buy different router bits. Normally you place the router like this. It's got two handles and you bring it down, and there's the bottom guard, and then the bit, you can release the bit the certain amounts of depth, you know, so you can lean it on the wood, place it at, you know, an eighth of an inch depth, and stick it down, and it'll start routing out the thing, and you can make designs, or you can do edging, you can do molding, corners, things like that. Just different ornate designs. And I'm trying to route out the center of a board, and I don't have a routing table. And what routing tables allow you to do is basically just center the router, and place the bit depth where you need it, and then move the board basically so the router stays stationary, and so you have a lot more freedom with what you do because you don't need a place to apply pressure. It's all caged in and held in one spot. I don't have one, so I needed to go a long way around and get this template. It cost me some money, which sucks. But the nice thing is that as long as I don't abuse it, it'll last for a while. So, yeah. That aside, once I do get moving again, I do plan on finishing playing Sanitarium. Not very far into the game right now, and I hear that it's something like 16 hours or so. It's a pretty long game. At least that's what I'm thinking of. I think it's supposed to be about 16 hours, something like that. Someone made a comment, I think on GOG, that said for someone who's experienced with adventure games, PC adventure games, it takes around 16 hours, something like that, I think. After that's done, I really don't know what I'm going to do next. I found myself in a position where I'm not really, the next 6 months, I have really no idea what's going to happen. I have a lot of bills that I need to pay, not a lot of money to do it with, and yeah, kind of stinks. But I'm going to keep doing it as much as I can because, you know, this is kind of fun for me. It's like a hobby for me, and so to keep doing this, the only thing it requires is effort. So, you know, if I get free time and I have the effort to put into it, then why not? But as far as new release games and things like that go, I don't think I'm going to be doing much of anything else, at least into, I don't know, the beginning of next year. What am I at? Almost 4 minutes. Till the beginning of next year. I know that I'm going to be picking up Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and seeing what I think of that. I bought Black Ops a few days ago for the PS3, and I've been playing that. And kind of getting into it, and I played Modern Warfare 2 a lot. And it was a love-hate relationship, and I'm finding the same thing with Black Ops. It's basically, it's a lot like Modern Warfare. It's a lot like Call of Duty. I mean, not a lot has changed over the years, but they did take out some of the stuff from, you know, not take out because it's not the same setting, not the same game. You know, it's not Modern Warfare. It's set in the 1960s, but they don't have a lot of breakage going on anymore. They took out a lot of perks that, when you set them in combination, they make for some really annoying and really, you know, easily stackable kills. You know, they took out a commando for one, so there's no more, you know, 15-foot teleporting with a knife and like stabbing someone in the throat. They took out God, there's another one. They took out the one, I can't remember what it was. You do more damage with bullets. I really forget what that one was called. They don't have that anymore. There's no martyrdom. There's no I know there's something else that's gone. There are a lot of things that are gone, and personally, I kind of like that more. I'm trying to think of because I know there are some that they took out the one that was, I think it was Cold-Blooded Pro. Is it the one that eventually gives you the thing where if you run over a landmine, it won't trigger it? They got rid of that, which, you know, I'm thankful for. But they still have the one where you can detect enemy equipment. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're gimping you. You know, if you want to have the one where you can detect claymores, you can have that. But, you know, there's no more of this, like, you know, free running over, you know, a claymore and then having it go off like 2 seconds later. And I kind of like that. But yeah, let's see, 5.5 minutes. Oh yeah, I have my camera set on auto too, so if the picture involuntarily turns like purple just suddenly or something, colors go off, then I'm sorry, my apologies. Let's see, what else has been going on? I just over the past couple weeks I found myself gaming less and less and watching more and more movies. Not a ton of movies, but I've seen, you know, a handful during the past couple of weeks, and kind of want to mention each one just real fast because I liked them a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but I started out watching American Psycho with Christian Bale, and I really liked that movie. I thought it was just really well acted and just entertaining as hell, you know. Something that has been said quite a lot towards the movie is that there's not a lot of action to keep it going, but for me the action in a movie is kind of interchangeable with tensity, you know, not tensity, it's a mixed up tension and intensity, but yeah, it's action is interchangeable with tension, so if you can create an environment that's really tense and, you know, it is tense and intense, and it gives you this, you know, vibe where you're kind of like, you're interested in what you're seeing for both kind of a good reason and for a bad reason, or you're interested in it because it's strange, it's different, but it's not too far removed because the movie still has, you know, it's a kind of a human story about, you know, a guy with a kind of a mental disorder, or just who's gone crazy, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, has a lust for killing, so you think. And it doesn't run that long. It's a pretty, you know, pretty normal length for a movie, so I'm not, you know, it's not boring. I was never bored. I was always interested in what I was seeing. Christian Bale like eats up the screen like nobody's business. He's really charismatic in that movie. The only other movie that I saw him in was Batman, The Dark Knight. I didn't even see Batman Begins, and so when I saw The Dark Knight, I was like, okay, Christian Bale, this guy who's like kind of pretty. I don't, you know, it was the first thing I'd seen him in. And then I went back and watched American Psycho, and I kind of got this whole new kind of respect for him. He's acted really well in that movie, and I was just drawn in by his performance. You know, if nothing else, it was his performance, and, you know, it's a great supporting cast too. Everyone in the movie, it's like, it plays around a lot with identity, and that's kind of funny because other than Christian Bale and a couple of other characters, he was always interacting with a slew of characters. You know, he was never just with like one person, or if he was, it was kind of momentary. It was just, you know, it was a slice outside of his normal life, because in his normal life he's always surrounded by people, and all of these people, you see them numerous times, but you never really get their names down, you know what I mean? There's too many of them, and they don't leave that much of an impression, which is kind of, maybe that's what they were going for when they made the movie. But no, I haven't read the novel, so I don't know, but can't remember. The guy who wrote the novel, I think he wrote something else that was substantial, didn't he? I can't remember what. Let's see, 9 minutes. So then, after seeing that, I went and I watched The Machinist, because I also heard good things about that. And that's the movie where Christian Bale lost something like 60 or 65 pounds, and he eventually got down to, I think, I've seen varying numbers, but the consensus seems to be somewhere between like 110 and 120 pounds for the role, and most of them say 115, but some of them vary, so I just thought I'd mention those. And, you know, and that one was interesting too. It almost has, if you haven't seen it, there might be, I might slip with a couple of spoilers, but a lot of people say that it has a twist ending, and I don't know, I watched it and I've seen a lot of movies with twist endings, and so it's not like I'm completely unaware of what a twist ending is, but I don't think The Machinist had a twist ending. It was very well set up, I think. I'd say that's another complaint, another common issue that people have with this movie, is that they say its running time was a little bit long for how slow it was. And at the same, it almost hits the same note as American Psycho. There's hardly any action, but the whole thing is really tense, and sitting there watching it, you can't help but be drawn into the characters. And I think that's what both of these movies did really well, is that the characterization of the protagonist, or, I don't know if we want to call it the protagonist, more like anti-hero or dark figures, but the main character of the story is what draws you in. And again, for The Machinist, it was a little bit on the long side. It wasn't too long, but it was longer, I think, than American Psycho. And it was a little slow, but it was never boring. It never felt like it dragged. I was always interested in what I was seeing. Just everything about the way the movie is shot, and there's this really great score to the movie too. It's just something, a really baritone. I don't know instruments, but it's really got a wonderful score to it. And just, man, everything about it was great. I just loved it. But and then on the ending, they say it was a twist ending. I don't think it was a twist ending, because everything that the movie works towards is revealed to you as it's revealed to Trevor Resnick, which is Christian Bale, as the main character, Trevor Resnick. You can figure things out before if you kind of pay attention. I didn't, but other people wrote that they did. But basically, you're learning note for note just as Trevor is learning things about himself in the movie. And so it's not really a twist, because you by a certain point you know what's coming, and so when it happens, you're like, it's not a twist, it's just a natural progression of what's been happening to the main character. It's more of a mystery than anything, but it's not, I don't think by any means it's not a twist, because a twist ending is like, I usually don't like twist endings, you know what I mean? Because it kind of ruins it. Like, in my opinion, M. Night Shyamalan's, the one, oh god, why am I forgetting that? The one he's most famous for, the one Bruce Willis, how am I forgetting the name of that movie? I See Dead People. I can't believe I forgot the name of that movie. I'm really sorry, my head's messed up right now. But that movie, for me, it was like a one-shot movie, because it relies heavily on its twist. The twist happens and you're like, oh my god. Okay. And like, you never want to watch the movie again. At least I never do, because it's like, magic's gone, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Machinist really didn't feel like that. It felt like a mystery that was unraveling, and so it's one of those movies that, at least for me, I'll be able to watch it again. 12 and a half minutes. Let's see, and then I watched, actually, I'll keep talking for a couple more minutes. I might touch on one real fast before I get into the other one. I watched my first couple of Bollywood movies, courtesy of my girlfriend. We watched them together. Excuse me, watched them together. The first one we watched was called Dabaang, and it was a really recent movie, I guess that's what she told me, in India, and it was weird. I don't know, not weird, not strange, but entirely different from anything else that I'd ever seen. I guess it had some charm. The movie, we both decided on its own merits, technical and how well it was put together, was a piece of shit. It was really terrible. I mean, it had like one or two funny moments, but the rest of the time I was just like, whoa, this movie's bad. And she agreed, and so did her sister. Her sister was like, I liked it, but it was bad. They watch tons of Bollywood movies, tons of Indian movies like that. The singing thing is strange, like how they have music in basically everything. That's what the standard is. The industry standard of Bollywood is to have, or India, is to have music in their movies. And so it's really strange, because you'll be watching it and they'll be doing a scene, and then it's most akin, I don't know how you say that, I don't know, to a Disney movie. And what I mean is, something will be happening, and all of a sudden, just without notice, the people will be like, and start singing, and then they'll go into this like dance number and I'm like, that's really weird. That messes with your head, because I don't know, they're all like musicals, and it's strange to think of all the movies as musicals, you know what I mean? It's a little trippy. I don't usually like musicals, but I think the style of this was so offbeat that I really didn't mind. And so when the music started, I was like smiling, kind of laughing. I was like, this is really weird, it's really mesmerizing, because I've never seen anything like this before. But the movie itself was pretty bad, and I'm approaching 15 minutes, so I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to come back, and in the next part I'm going to talk about the second Bollywood movie that I watched, and a couple more. So you guys peace out for now, and I'll be right back. So we'll see you in just a second. Goodbye.